Welcome to the rabbit house at Rockbaston. Today we're going to look as to how we clean out a rabbit pen so you can follow the step-by-step instructions when you come to do your practical assessment. Firstly, you're going to need tools and equipment, so I'm going to take you through these tools that we've got. You're going to need a dustpan and brush. You're going to need a muck bucket.
There we go.
And you're going to need some shavings.
Yeah. And
You're also going to need a broom, and this is for sweeping up the large areas of old shavings and dirt that you need to remove out of the pen. And last but not least, you're going to need some straw. Okay, this is straw. Straw is used for bedding, and any straw that you remove out of the rabbit pen will need to be replaced. Okay, what's really important, when you walk into your rabbit pen, you must always be careful that you don't let your rabbit out of the pen, okay? So always just block your gap that you're going to make from the door. Can you see? So just move your rabbit to one side and lock your door. First thing you need to do for health and safety, once you've got your boots and overalls on, is to remove any equipment out of the rabbit pen that you think could be a trip hazard to you. So the rabbit usually has equipment, okay, and toys. So all of these are going to be taken out of the rabbit pen and put just outside the gate. An empty bowl, a shoebox, all need to go out of the gate. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to empty the litter tray, which as you can see is full of shavings and droppings. All animals need help to be cleaned up after them, okay? And it is really good for their health to make sure they live in a clean environment and not a dirty one. So you simply get the litter tray, collect your muck bucket. You will need the brush from your dustpan and brush, and you empty it into the muck bucket. Make sure you brush out as much of the shavings as possible. Emptied our litter tray. Now we need to clean it, okay, because you can see it's very wet there. So what we need to do is just pop a little bit of disinfectant. Okay, it only needs a small amount. Put a little bit of disinfectant into the litter tray. Add water. And using a sponge, I'm going to scrub that out. So making sure you get into all the corners, killing all those germs and removing any feces that may be stuck to the sides. Tap off, quick scrub, and empty. Okay, and just to be really sure that we're safe, because your rabbit might be allergic to this disinfectant, I'm just going to give it a rinse with cold water as well. So I've cleaned the germs, I've removed the dirt, and I've given it a final rinse. Okay, because we've got shavings going into our litter tray, it's really important that we dry it, because if we don't, the shavings will just absorb all of the moisture. Okay, so I'm just drying out this tray now, so it's nice and dry. Okay, use a towel. That's it. And that is now ready to go back into our rabbit pen. Okay, we've emptied our litter tray, we've disinfected it, we've rinsed it and we've dried it. So now we need to replace the shavings that we've thrown away that were dirty. Okay, now what's really important here is that we are sustainable, okay? You do not need to fill this up with shavings. You only need a slight covering over the bottom, and that is enough for the rabbits while they're using it as a toilet, okay? So just use your hand and just put I don't know, 3 or 4 good handfuls of shavings into the litter tray. And what you should find is that you've just about covered the bottom, okay? And that is plenty. That's far enough for the rabbits to still be able to use it. There's enough in there that it will absorb the urine. The rabbits will be able to defecate, do their droppings in there, and then there's only a small amount that we need to throw away tomorrow when we come to clean it out again. Okay, so we've done the litter tray, that's all nice and clean. Now we're going to spot clean the rabbit pen. Spot clean means you only clean up the dirty areas. So in order to be sustainable and to save money and resources, if we removed all of these shavings, it's wasteful. So what we can do, they have a full clean when they need it, but this rabbit, you can see the dirty areas, okay? And all I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the dirty areas using a dustpan and brush. So I can see a wet patch down here, okay? So all I do, I'm going to sweep the clean stuff to one side. I will sweep the dirty stuff, the wet stuff, into a pile. Okay? Sweep it up onto your dustpan and pop it into the muck bucket. Into the muck bucket. Okay, so I've cleaned out one area which was dirty, but I can see another area down here. This is where you have to be really good with your eyes. Make sure you're looking, okay, for those patches that need cleaning out. So I'm just cleaning out all of those droppings into the muck bucket. And there's another area I can see on the floor, which is down in this corner here. Rabbits do generally tend to prefer to do their droppings in corners. Okay, so you can see that this rabbit's using this corner here. That isn't the case for all rabbits, by the way. It's just that you find that a lot of them, they do prefer to go to the toilet in one area, 1 or 2 areas. Okay, and that's the floor clean. One other area that we need to check is the bed, okay? So obviously they've got a nice comfy bed where they can go in and hide, but it's not very clear to see. So it will be up to you to check that that bed is not full of droppings. There are actually some droppings in here, so all I'm going to do, I'm going to use my dustpan. I'm going to scoop out the pile of droppings that I found. I'm going to empty that into the muck bucket, and that's the bed clean. There's nothing more I need to do. Okay, so now we are at the stage where we have cleaned out all the dirty patches of shavings. So now what we need to do is replace them. Now what you need to try and do is replace as much as you've taken out, which isn't that much. So if you have a look in the pen, in that corner there, you can see there's no shavings there because I removed them because there was droppings there. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to take a good handful of shavings, take them over to that patch and scatter. There's also an area here that hasn't got shavings. So I'm just going to cover up that floor there as well. So I noticed when I came into this pen that this rabbit did have a little bit of straw in her bed. Is it a boy or a girl? Let's have a look.
A boy.
He's a boy. He is a boy. Okay. So we've got a boy in here, and he did have a little bit of straw in his bed. So I'm going to replace some of that straw because when I scooped out the droppings, we lost some of the straw. Always make sure that your rabbit is not allergic to straw, which some rabbits can be. Okay, I'm just going to put the straw in there as bedding. Straw is for bedding. Hay is for eating. This is straw, so this is bedding. if ever you want to know the difference between straw and hay, hay is for eating, smell it. Hay smells of grass. Straw doesn't really have a strong smell to it at all. But the hay, because it's dried grass, it still smells of grass. Right, for the last bit now, I just need to sweep underneath the gate, okay? So we leave an area here which is free down the front for the hay, and so you can open the gate, you know, easily and stuff. So make sure you know where your rabbit is. Come out of the gate. Get your broom. Okay. When you're working in the rabbit pen, always make sure you know where your rabbit is. Okay, so I've just swept that into a pile. And now I need my dustpan and brush. Dustpan and brush. Just fetch up that little bit that I don't want in there into my muck bucket. Right, we're just going to sweep out underneath the gate, just to make sure we're leaving it nice and tidy, because we do actually have visitors that come and see our rabbits, so we want it to look presentable for them. Make sure that you lock the gate, okay, when you finish that. Okay, and the last job, to make sure that everything goes back in so you don't leave anything out, because obviously this rabbit has all this equipment for a reason. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the litter tray back in exactly the same spot that it came from. Okay, so as you can see, that's where it came from. So we'll put it back in there. And now we will put in the cardboard box for chewing, the wood for chewing, and the ball for playing with. It's actually a treat ball, so you can actually hide some of its food in there. Okay, always remembering to close the gate behind you. Give your rabbit a stroke. Let him know what a good boy he's been. Okay, and once you've fed and watered, that's your rabbit pen done.